Yo, what's going on, guys? Officer Ramses here, and I'm back with another fantastic Clash Royale video for you guys. In this one, we're going to be talking about 5 tips to become a better Royal Giant player. I think these tips are good for any type of player, whether you're a top ladder player, mid ladder player, low ladder player. This will help you improve at the game. Also, I'm sure you guys already noticed, I did get a new overlay. Let me know what you think of the new overlay in the comments down below. I'm going to be playing a couple of replays in the background, and without further ado, let's hop into these tips. Alright guys, hopping into the first tip here. My first tip for you guys is to play slow, okay? What I mean by play slow, I don't mean react slow to things. What I mean is don't use cards that you don't need to use, okay? Don't use unnecessary cards. For instance, if they're coming in with a balloon push, okay, just Zappies take care of that. You don't need to go Zappies and Mother Witch and a Fireball, okay? React very slowly, because what happens is now you had those Zappies counter pushing, and now you have more elixir to use on offense. Now if they put something behind the balloon or in front of the balloon that makes you have to react more, then you can adjust your plays. But until then, don't just put everything you can down. Play as slow as possible. Play your game, not their game, okay? And by playing slow, this allows you to play how you want to play instead of how they want you to play. And it also keeps you from getting stuck in a bad cycle. Because if you're using every single card on a balloon, and he has a balloon cycle deck, for instance, he's just going to go in, and now you're not going to have all your cards that you need for that balloon, because you just used it on the last balloon. So play nice and slow, and don't use cards you don't need to. Alright, my second tip for you guys, the second tip that I could think of is... this is just basic RG 101. So if they have a building, let's say a cannon, let's say an Inferno Tower, so if it's a really hard matchup especially, this matchup's over. Let me hop into a new one before I get started. So play RG in the back if they have any of those buildings I was just listing. There are a few exceptions. Expo is an exception. You don't want to RG in the back, typically against Expo. There are some situations, but it's very rare. But just for general knowledge, don't RG in the back against Expo, but do it against every other building deck. Also, if they have like Tombstone in its graveyard, also in that situation, you don't want to RG in the back. Tombstone, you can easily go in at the bridge and log it. Now, let's say there's some scenarios where people are going against Mini P.E.K.K.A. Tesla or something, where they have 2 things for your Royal Giant. They have a troop, and they have a building. Some people are like, should I Royal Giant the back, or should I Royal Giant the bridge? Because if they don't have a building, you want to Royal Giant the bridge. The rule still applies. If they have a building, Royal Giant the back. So, even if they have Tesla and Mini P.E.K.K.A., you want to Royal Giant the back, and then you want to keep that Fisherman in hand and get rid of that Mini P.E.K.K.A. right away. So if you're ever... And that applies for when there's not a building as well. So let's say he just has Mini P.E.K.K.A. Make sure you have your Fisherman in hand before you go in, or his Mini P.E.K.K.A. is going to get a lot of value. P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam is a great example. Okay, you never want to go in with a Royal Giant in single elixir at all. But against P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam, if they have P.E.K.K.A. in hand... You want to make sure, if you go in with Royal Giant, that you are going to use your Fisherman on their P.E.K.K.A. or they're going to get a crazy counter push. Okay, hopping into the third tip for you guys. This tip is massive, and it's for specifically a Royal Giant SK deck like the one I used right here. You want to have your Skarmy, your Goblin Gang, whatever it is, in cycle with your Skeleton King. Now, sometimes you start off with a terrible hand, and this is not an option. But... in general, you want to get it in cycle next to your Skeleton King. See my hand right now? That's exactly what you want. See how I wasn't placing anything down against the E-Golem matchup? That's because I knew he wanted to start an E-Golem push. So I played nice and slow, and you want to make sure you put down, preferably, the Skarmy first. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The SK first, and then the Skarmy. Because if you put the SK down first, and then the Skarmy, even if they zap it immediately, you'll be able to get those souls, and you'll have pretty much a second Skarmy for the Skeleton King. And if you have to put the Skeleton King down second, then you want to make sure you put it down as fast as possible, or he's going to spell out that Skarmy. And that's it for the third tip, but for the fourth tip, Learn activations with the fisherman. Every activation you could possibly do with the fisherman, you must learn. I have a video on my YouTube channel, and it's pretty old now. Also on my TikTok, showing off every single King Tower activation that I know with a fisherman. Hold on, let me put on another match. So you want to learn every single King Tower activation with the fisherman, not just a hog rider, not just a giant, not the easy ones. I'm talking about the more difficult ones. Learn how to activate with a Valk. Learn how to activate against a Dark Prince, or a Ghost, or a Skeleton King, or a Executioner, a Bowler, a Magic Archer. Those are all possible to activate King Tower with your fisherman. And a lot of matchups, it helps a lot. Like, for instance, a lot of graveyard players have Skeleton King in their deck, or Valk in their deck. If you activate King Tower against a graveyard player, you pretty much won. Unless you mess up really bad, you pretty much won. So it's very important. Also, when you're activating with the fisherman, you want to make sure, like, let's say there's a bowler counter pushing, or you're going to activate against, I don't know, anything. You want to make sure they don't have tornado in hand, because they can very easily tornado your fisherman either away or into the push, so it won't activate the tower. So you want to make sure, if you're going for that activation against the bowler, for instance, you want to make sure they don't have NATO in hand. Funny enough, I think coming up, I put a fisherman down, and he had NATO in hand, and it messes me up. Let's see. Hold on, let's see. I'm pretty sure I do exactly what I'm saying now not to do. Exactly what I said not to do. I'm not perfect, but generally, that's what you want to do. Also, I didn't see him turn... It was a bad move. Anyway, hopping into the fifth and last tip here. And this goes for any deck. This is not just Royal Giant decks. This is any deck. Never, ever, by any means, give up, okay? There is no game that is over until it's over, okay? There are so many, especially with the Royal Giant SK deck, there's so many instances where I thought I lost. If you ever watch my stream, all the time I go, oh, we lost, and then I end up winning. It happens all the time. Never give up. Keep playing until the end, because, especially with this SK Royal Giant deck, it could take the tower in one push. I mean, some decks can't, like a Minor Cycle deck, for instance, can't do a bunch of damage in one push. But this Royal Giant deck can take his tower in one push, so never ever give up. I actually had a great replay earlier, but I couldn't play it anymore. Just to show that you should never give up. But for any deck, keep playing until the very end of the match. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you want me to go over specific matchups that you struggle with this deck or any deck. Let me know if you like the overlay. I stream every single night on Twitch, so make sure you go check that out. Also, the links to the man that made this overlay will be in the description below. If you guys are interested, make sure you send a message. But anyway, guys, I'm Officer Ramses, and I'm out of here. Peace out, guys. Peace.